All right, Hassan, Nicole, I hope all is well. Wanted to do this video for you. I'm trusting that all is well with the family and moms as well. But wanted to do this market update with you guys to kind of keep you in the loop as to what's going on. We have a unique situation that's going on right now that's in the market regarding your specific property, 2160 Chianti Place. So let's go ahead and dive into it. I'll go ahead and go through this and make sure that you're aware. Now, now each week I've been sending out a report. You should be receiving this via email. With that being via email, it should be titled Your Listing Weekly Report Online Activity. This is kind of like of a gauge that lets us know what's going on with your property. This is the most recent report. I want to go over this report because it has some new features that showed up specifically this week because of some analysis that I want you guys to take a look at. Let's go ahead. But once you go into your email, you click on the link there, it's going to take you to the report. It opens it up, and then it gives you the life of the report. So if you guys take a look here across the top, it kind of gives you a highlight, and then it goes into detail as you scroll down. So the first section here, as we take a look at it, it gives you an opportunity to see the number of views, which websites that it's tracking, and what the activity is. So more specifically, there's a column on the left for each website. The column on the left is particularly yours, your particular property, and then the average views is similar homes. It's kind of in the orange there if you guys highlighting it. So we got Zillow, Realtor, the MLS, Trulia, and other broker websites that are out there. So it's definitely out there online wise. Now I can't track, say, social media. I do a lot of social media campaigns. I've been running multiple campaigns, paid ads to kind of push the property as well. But that would be another report that I would have to do for you. But in short, if you can see over the life in this section right here, the life of the campaign, it's very high where we have the number of visitors visiting different websites. It's very high right here just because this is when we first came on the market. And then you can see how it trends downward and then it stays stagnant. So this has been a situation with the property. I mean, we know what's going on with the market right now. We know that not everyone's selling fast. People are getting on the market. Buyers aren't as active as they usually have been in the past. And during the summer months, we were anticipating a lot of activity, and that didn't quite happen this particular summer. So they expected things to happen a little bit more towards the end of the year. That's the expectation. However, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So also, this is a heat map. This gives us an idea of where the views are coming from. So I'll let you guys explore that on your own, but just making sure that you are aware of it. So one of the big things that I definitely wanted to highlight in this particular report is this section right here. So on the left, this is our property right here, 2160 Chianti Place. Now, that was the left. On the right, we have 2148 Chianti Place. Now, what makes this comparison very unique, this property is the same exact as your home. So what we've been running into since we've been on the market, what we've been running into is the situation where we haven't had the exact comparison. We've had properties that are in the area. We've had other properties that are very similar to yours that are over in the Innisbrook golf course community that have sold, and that's what's kept our value and made us curious as in, hey, this is a value that's reflecting, and we knew it would appraise at that. But what's happened is over in the golf place, that market has slowed, well, even though it's right next door to you guys, as well as things have slowed within our community as well, Tuscany. So I'll show you another report showing how things have slowed down and how a number of people have come onto the market that are, say, in Tuscany community, and they've taken their property off of the market because of it's been on the market for a period of time. But this is a commonality that's going on in the market right now. People are getting on the market. If it's not getting sold, then they're taking it off the market, or a temporary. When I say take it off, it's like a temporary withhold from the market. So let's go back to this. All right, so back to this report right here. So this is the life of a listing. So this is information, insight that I get to explore. So this is our property. So we're at a little bit above 3,800 calculated views. So 3,800 calculated views. This is the life of the listing. Now, we've been on the market since January, I think that's 21st, that we've actually been live on the market. Now, this property right here, which is exactly like ours, has total views above 2,200, and it's been on the market less than 50 days. So, what are they doing that we're not doing? Well, one of the things that makes it a bit of an attractor is that it's the same property, but they're listed much lower. So we'll go into that. I'll show you guys here in a moment. But I'm gonna come back to that in a moment. The rest of the report is very self-explanatory. As you guys scroll through, you see the number of inquiries that are calculated. Obviously, there's more inquiries that may not be on this report, but it gives you a general idea. It's been the same behaviors. MLS, people favoring this particular property on the MLS and so forth. Very great report, gives you an idea of the activity of what's going on. So going back to this section right here, let's see here. No. I apologize for not having this directly. Okay, here we go. All right, 2148. This particular property, it's literally across the street from you guys. It's literally directly across from you guys. This property is up for sale. It's been on the market for less than 50 days. They are listed at 379. So with our home, obviously we are listed much higher than that, 100,000 over that. So what happens is, analytical wise, what happens is like the big websites, they see that it's basically the same property, square footage, same amount of bedrooms, and so forth. What they do is there's a comparison. So this property will get more views. It's going to be placed in front of a lot more people because what happens is they want you to compare, but you won't compare unless you know that your property is on the market. So what happens is with this particular home, I did have an opportunity to view it. It's directly across the street from you guys. So in viewing this property, you'll be able to see, and kind of scan through this. They don't have it at an updated kitchen. They have carpet flooring. Now we know this all costs. We know that your kitchen is customized, it's completely set up differently. Uh, throughout the property, you can see the difference. You can tell that you have the multiple upgrades and this property doesn't. Even in the bathrooms, it's not as bad as I want to say, so to speak. It's not as not updated, but you guys are a bit more updated than what this property is. But that being said, what happens is when a buyer sees this, they're looking at this property and they're looking at your property. So they wanted, it's kind of comparison of cars. I use this analogy all the time. You basically have a base model, or you have the high end model of a same vehicle. You can use your own vehicle that you have. You have the high end value of it. Say that you have an AMG version of your vehicle versus the base model, and that's what this other property directly across the street is. So what buyers are looking at is seeing the value in the difference. What upgrades that you've had is the value there. Then obviously price is the difference. So in order for us to make a difference and get a bit more traction would be showing that the extras that you have in your home will exceed. It would cost any particular buyer a lot more money to be able to add those extra benefits that you currently have in your property into this property. Now, like I said, I did view this property. It's more than just the upgrades. I even looked at the AC units. With the AC unit, with one of them, it was from 2007. So a lot of things will have to be replaced in that property, definitely in near time. Now, since you guys are in the condos and they're doing 20% down, ideally that's what your buyer is going to have to put down, 20% down. A lot of that, they may not have the same issues when it comes to insurance companies, but insurance companies are acting a little funny right now. So they may require them to have that replaced. Any other type of financing, it would be required to be replaced, but there may be some type of conventional or cash purchase that would not require that equipment to be replaced. But if it has to be replaced, you got to figure the property has two AC systems, so it's going to be a significant amount of money. The updates that you have in your primary bedroom, in the closet, in the bathroom, these are all upgrades that would definitely cost them at least 100,000 more. But we have to show that value and significance to any potential buyer if we are looking to be the next property to sell. So what I'm basically saying is, if you are looking to be the next property to sell, and we need to get this property sold at some point in time, then we're going to need to make some type of an adjustment. Excuse me, I need to do that. Go back. It's just looking at the property again. We would need to make some type of an adjustment. Making that adjustment will make things a bit different for you guys. Will give us more visibility online, as well as getting more attraction. So that being said, more attraction means possibly more visitors, meaning the property would also need to be ready as well for potential showings. People are seeing this, and they're going to look at the pictures to see what the difference is. What makes your property so much more special that we're at 100,000 more. So I wanted to show you that because it's very important, because we're going to have to make an adjustment for looking to be the next property sold, because we're just going to sit on the market at our current point. It makes them look good because a lot of people are going to start being creative and thinking that they can make all of the updates that you have in your home into this home, and then making it more of their home versus a home that they're just purchasing. So one other aspect that I did want to share with you was a report that I did. I said I would come back to this. This report right here, I call it the 300-day report. Basically, the 300-day report is I kind of do a backdraft of the market, specifically your community, what's been going on in the last 300 days. So some of the information that I've reviewed is that we currently have 8 listings that are active. None of the listings, the closest size, obviously we have the one that's the exact size, same property across the street from you. But then we also have the next level. The next level is 1379 square footage wise. They're listed at 339. And like I said, the other property is listed at 379. That's your twin property. So they said 40,000 more than a property that's approximately 400 square feet smaller. And then it trickles down from there. If you guys continue to look at this report, the smallest is 785. Properties that have actually sold in your specific community, the biggest was 1460. Without the upgrades, then you also have 1335 square footage wise. So your property has not, the same floor plan has not sold. So as you already are aware that it is a unique property, size wise, days on market for properties that actually sold would range from 16 days to 294 days. So keep that in mind. So that's almost a whole year, 294 days. Also, what's important, as I mentioned before, people have placed their property on the market and they've just taken it off the market after a period of time. You've had 2 properties that were withdrawn, basically just taken off. You had 7 sellers that actually canceled their contract, and that can happen for a number of reasons. They let it expire, and they weren't moving forward with it, or something was going on. And then temporary off the market. See, these are properties that they're just taking a break for whatever the reason may be, and then at some point they're going to place those properties back on the market. Now, temporary placement off the market, it does not do a reset. Some people may have that myth in their mind that if I take it off the market for a little bit of time, I can put it back on the market in 30 days and then we'll be back at it. Well, what happens is it basically just presses pause. So those number of days that it's actually been on the market is still significant. It's still going to be there. So if that was possible thought process in this, it doesn't matter when you do a temporary off market. There's ways about how to reset that so that you're fresh. But in our current situation, I did this report because I want to provide you with a recommendation. Uh, and with that recommendation, I want to make you aware of what's going on in the market, what your current competition is doing, and if you want to be the next property to actually sell in your community. So in order to be the next property to sell in the community, you're going to be compared at this time to the property that's directly across the street from you. I know you have way more upgrades than the property across the street, but we are a huge difference. There's a huge gap because they've dropped their price. Um, One of the things that I would possibly consider is that if you came down half of what the difference was, but doing some type of, if we're in that position to do so, that's something that we can discuss directly, but I wanted to go through this report and we can do that on a schedule decrease, starting off, and I can show you that. Actually, I'll show it to you right now because I actually put it together. So possible, uh, price adjustment. So I don't like to use the word decrease. It's a price adjustment, market adjustment, because the market has changed at this time. So if we did a market adjustment of 50,000, I don't like to do such a huge chunk all big all at one time. We do see it online. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking at new construction, especially that's in that area where they're dropping anywhere between 30 to 70,000. I've seen that within the past 2 months in that area. So if we were to go at a point of a price adjustment of 50,000, I would say the initial one would only probably be 30,000. Let's get activity going. That would get activity going and get a lot more eyes on the property. Let that go for about 14 days. This is with the anticipation that we're able to make this adjustment very soon, as you guys see these dates that are here that I'm marking here. Let that happen on 8/28, so that's a couple of days from now. Then after that, 14 days, then doing another adjustment at 10K. And then let that go for about another week, and then making another adjustment of another 10K. So giving a total of $50,000 price adjustment. That is something that we can look at, obviously each step, but what I'd like to do is have that agreed upon in the beginning, where you have the adjustment of the 50,000, but we were going into tiers. That way we wouldn't have to continuously go back and forth with getting the document signed. I know that's a process for us, is getting document signs, because it's going to require both parties, you and mom's, Hassan. So with that being said, I would like, if I can write it up so that we would be able to automatically make these adjustments, and we'll have this schedule created so that my team could go in and just make these adjustments for us. But this is where we stand at. So, like I said, I wanted to show you this report because of one of the unique property that you have directly across the street from you. But this is also what I do on my end each week. So I know a lot of times we don't get the verbally talk or sending messages and going back and forth. But this is what I look at each week when I'm looking at the reports. I go through the reports, looking at what properties are actually sold. I look at what properties sold in the community, what properties are sold outside of the community, what new properties have been added to the market. So this is something that I do on a weekly basis for you, just to keep an eye on what the activity of what's going on for the property. So it's not just placing it on the MLS and just letting it do just let it go by itself, so to speak, do what it do. So with that being said, I wanted to make sure that I did go over this with you. If we're looking to be the next property sold, we have to make some adjustments. We've been on the market for a period of time, and it's just having that heart to heart. My job in this process is basically to make you aware of what the market is doing, what adjustments are going, what adjustments could help us in this process. Ultimately, the final decision is up to you. But my strong suggestion is that we are going to have to do some type of price adjustment if we are looking to be the next property sold, especially now that we have direct competition, and this direct competition is across the street. As I mentioned before, the property across the street is getting a lot of eyes right now. With it getting a lot of eyes right now, go back to this report. Like I said, it's been on the market for just under 50 days, and it has more than half the views that we've had for the lifetime of this listing. So that lets us know that some type of adjustment is going to need to be made, and it's going to have to come it's going to have to be done through the pricing of the property. So let me come back here. Share you guys today. So this is what I meant. So 22 above 2200, and we're just at 3800 lifetime. 50 days since January 21st. So that should give you a visual of what I'm speaking in regards to. That property across the way is getting a lot of attention. The reason is a primary reason that it's getting a lot of attention is because our property is listed so high, and it's the same property, and people are going to want to know what is the difference. And the primary, and you can see it in the pictures, but a lot of times when you're dealing with other agents, how do they educate their buyer in reference to that? It makes sense to you and I as we're talking about it because you've done so many upgrades. But a lot of times people have to be able to see it without being educated. And then once we can get them to call on the phone and get people viewing the property, I can help educate and guide them through that process and letting them know that, hey, they're getting a steal. The number of upgrades that this property has had, the renovations that have been done. I mean, you guys have done quality work in the kitchen, the bathrooms, the flooring that's downstairs, the primary bedroom, the closet that you have, the custom closet that you have, the stand-up shower. You guys have done a significant amount of work. So please take a look, review this report, review your email. Hopefully this helps a little bit more as in when I am sending this information on a weekly basis so that you understand what to look at and how your property is performing in today's market. And this is what's going on. So like I said, I know I'm asking for this adjustment to happen rather sooner than later, just because I know for a fact that a lot of people are looking at this other property. And if I get, while we have eyes looking at that property, I would love them to look at your property, especially if we are looking to get to be the next property sold. So contact me directly. I'm a phone call away. Um, I'm enjoying this ride. It's a journey right now, and I completely understand. I appreciate you guys' patience and continued motivation in trying to get this property sold. The team has not stopped on you guys at all. We're continuing to move forward each week and making this happen, continuously marketing the property as well. But I know with the information that I shared with you today and the suggestion that has been provided to you today, will go a long way as in getting us more eyes on this property. And that's basically what we need at this point in time. We'll make sure property stand out more than any other property that's out there. So with that all being said, yours truly, Chris Brown, I will be in touch. And like I said, just reach out, give me a call. You don't send me a video of recording back, but I just wanted to do this because I wanted to take the time to go over this with you guys. So take care.